It's tile day. Welcome back to the basement job. We are taking a look at finishing all the flooring that's not getting laminate and it's not on a subfloor system. So because we have our subfloor system that you've probably seen previously, what we're doing here is we are recreating the same tile floor that's upstairs and we're bringing it down here so that we have a nice constant flow through the house. You see the same flooring patterns emerging over and over again. It gives you the feeling that everything was pre-thought, right? It's very intentional. We didn't just go to the store and find something and slap it in the basement. So now this becomes an extension of the upstairs. But what we do have is a different in elevation because we have subfloor and then on concrete. So what we've done is prepared this concrete in advance. We use the Eco Prime grip from MapHigh, and that's a brilliant little product. Basically what we have is raw concrete that hasn't been painted, except when they primed the basement originally, they used a spray machine, so there's spray powder everywhere. And that is going to interfere with our adhesion with our cement. So what I did is I used the Eco Prime grip, and then I've used the Protega underlayment. This is an uncoupling membrane. This is not a Dietrich product. This is red, not orange, so don't have to adjust the color on your screen. This one is what the world would call a knockoff. It hasn't been tested to the same degree for working in areas with deflection and that sort of thing. But for me, I'm comfortable saving a couple $100 using this here. It's on concrete. And when you're building on concrete, all you're really looking for is the elevation. I don't need a whole lot of performance from this product. And so I'm more than confident that it's gonna work just fine. So we prime it, we put down the underlayment. Now we're ready to tile. We did this yesterday. I don't like to tile right away because I seem to dent the cement as it's drying. So today what we have to do now is we have to measure this out. We got to map this out. You can't just start a project in the far corner and go left to right and fill it all in. You need to think ahead. Where are my grout lines going to be? What's the pattern I'm using? And where is the square versus non-square walls in the home? Remember, this is a modification to an existing space. So this used to be a wall, we removed it. This is existing from the builder. This is existing from the builder. And we just finished doing some measuring and found out they're not parallel. So it's very key now that we think about how we lay our tiles so that we don't overemphasize the fact that these are out of line. We don't want to have our tile finishing here with no grout line and then opening up to a grout line and going, wow, what a really nasty looking tile job. So keeping in mind that people are coming down the stairs, what's in their line of sight, what is the most common traffic flow, and then where do we want to have our grout lines and interrupt our grout lines, and how is it going to meet with the other flooring? All these things we got to take into consideration. So let's begin. So these are our tiles. They're 12 by 24. This is a porcelain. It's a Lapato, so it's not a flat. It's not a gloss. It's kind of like semi-gloss for paint. It has a little bit of texture in it. And it's really nice for floors, especially if you're going to be going in and out to the hot tub or coming out of a shower, because it will give you a little bit of grip. It's also very easy to clean. Now, the tile floor upstairs, which is what we're going to mimic so that we have the same continuity, is an 8-inch offset pattern, but it's not a brick pattern. This one is a little bit different. So I'm just going to lay this out real quick so that we can have a look as far as what this is going to look like as a finished product. All right, this is the offset that they're doing upstairs. Okay, so here's our pattern. This is an 8-inch offset, but this isn't a brick pattern. It doesn't keep stepping down away. It comes back again. So what we end up with is 2 grout lines and then 2 grout lines with a larger space in the middle. And this can be very beneficial for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our laser level that we've already established a line all the way down. And we're going to just have a quick look at what kind of offcuts we're going to get if we start in that particular spot. So here we're fine. It'd be nice if this was not more than half a tile. Yeah, 11 and a half, 11 and a half. That's good. So because this wall is going to give me half cuts, but it's not square, I'm going to just measure from both ends, make sure that I'm starting in a place where my offcuts I can use again and I'm not throwing tile away. But I like this pattern, I like where it's going down here. I'm not going to end up with little slivers against the wall. I might end up with something over here. Yeah, I'm gonna end up with about a 3-inch piece there, and that's gonna be fine. But that's out of the way. Now, if I do the same thing down here, because that's on my laser line, I can find my laser line, put my tape measure down, check my 2-foot tile, see where I end up. So there I hit the wall at 1 foot, there I'll hit the wall at 16-inch, and that will lead me right into my bathroom. Wow, that doesn't happen very often, but I think that's gonna work. All right, so here's the secret. When you're doing a tile job, first you wanna identify where your grout lines are gonna be, what the condition at the visible edges are gonna be like, so you can adjust your main line off your laser. But secondly, you also gotta consider where you wanna finish up. So down at this end, we're finishing up in a door. It's a transition under door, so it doesn't matter the conditions going to the storeroom. Over here, we got an entrance to a bedroom door. It's secondary, it's out of the line of sight from the main living area. But over here is the main living area. The French door is leading into the great room. Now, we're going from one type of flooring to another, so we will have a cap transition, but we don't want to end up with a piece where we have like a 2 or 3-inch sliver there. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure off from over there, because I need to start way over here. This is a 2-day tile installation. So today I want to do all the floor, and then tomorrow I want to do the shower and the rest of the bathroom floor, but I need to have tile going into that room so I have something that I can stand on while I'm filling out the space. So my tile is really kind of odd. It's actually 11.5 inches, including my grout line. So it's not a true 12 by 24. So I need to measure right from where I want to finish down to where I want to start. And then I can establish my line. Okay, so I come down here. There we go, there's 19 feet. I'm gonna make a mark. And I'm gonna do my math. So I have 19 feet minus ½ inch per tile, okay? So that's 19 tiles at a ½ an inch. Half of 19 is, yep, 9.5. So minus 9.5 inches. So my mark minus 9.5 inches is where my tile will end. And then I can go back 11.5. This is where my first tile is gonna go. And now I'm gonna just get my square, bring it down here off the laser line, draw my mark, and then I can start tiling. Okay, so this is not too difficult, but little paying attention going on here. We got our square, we got our laser line, we're gonna build the entire floor, and that is actually our grout line. So every tile that we have going down here, well, every other tile is gonna touch that line. So I'm measuring off, putting my square on that line with both my fingers. Perfect. And I have the other point here with my measurement that I put down just a minute ago. And I'm gonna just draw my line with my black marker. Make sure I am good to go. There we go, and that's where I'm starting. So just a quick lesson on how to mix your cement, but first, where to buy it. I use Map By Products because I go to a local wholesaler for tile and flooring products. The company name doesn't really matter at this point, but the point is this. My bag of cement, this is LFT, large format tile cement. And when I buy this bag, I believe it's like $16 or $17. If you went to the local hardware store to buy this bag, you're looking upwards of $35 to $40. Now to do this type of cement on that type of tile for 12 by 24, you're probably gonna get 60 or 70 square feet per bag. So in a project like this, I'm gonna go through 5 bags of cement. You can do the math. That is about $150 you're gonna save, and it's better in your pocket. Now, what you wanna do, start off by adding a little bit of water. Ends up being about 20% water, give or take. Now it depends on the tile setter. Some people like more or less. This particular batch is a little warm. I only have access to it from the hot water overflow from the tank. So I'm gonna have issues with my cement drying quickly on me. So once I get going, I gotta move fast. Okay, good. So because it's warm water, I've got to work quick. I'm not going to make as much. I'm only going to make a half pail. I'm using a slow speed mixer. It doesn't rotate as fast as a lot of the other like VSR drills. And this is designed for cement and for mud mixing. So already I can tell it's gonna be a little too stiff. You wanna add water if you're gonna add more at the very beginning of your mixing process. Once you're finished mixing, it needs to set for 10 minutes before you use it. If you add water during that time, you're destroying your cement. There we go. That's what I like to see. It's got some ridging, some peaking, it's holding its own shape, and yet it still looks nice and loose. Okay, so once again, for the DIYers out there, we're using a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch trowel. It works very good with the large format tile cement. And the idea is we want to fill up these holes that are in this in order to transfer the contact point from the stone right down into the concrete underneath. If you don't fill these, you'll have a bunch of air pockets and you run the risk of cracking your tile. And I use my trusty little cheapy tile cutter from building store. Always put a nice wheel on it and it works just fine. When you're installing this way, or on a 2-day tile install, I'll almost always just go for the square footage on the first day. So I'll do my square cuts. I won't even pull out my grinder. I won't do details around the doors and that sort of thing. I won't pull out the wet saw until the second day. I don't like to set it up and clean it up twice. So here we go. We're looking to fill up these squares. You've got to come at it from a couple of different directions. Make sure you don't bury your line. You can see you will end up going through a lot of cement. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just trowel this out real quick. And then I'm going to knock it all in the same direction so that when I'm putting my tile in, I have a nice consistent underlay there. Now, because it's a large format, I'm going to steal a little bit of cement, back butter my tile. And we're going to place this down on my line. Happens to be about there. And I'm going to check for my laser level. I'm a little too far over. Perfect. And a little bit of pressure. Slide it to my line. Now, in our last tile videos, people have commented, oh, you don't have enough adhesion. Anyway, so one of my viewers mentioned, why don't you lift the tile and show everybody? There you go. Industry standard for floors is 80%. This is about 97. I ought to be just fine. There we go, there's our cornerstone. Now all I gotta do is the same thing over and over and over again until the floor's done. Let's open up this box. They're a clip. Basically, it's the same science as all the clip systems. They break off. You just place them underneath. The idea here is you just get rid of the extra cement that's in the area because you don't want to have cement popping up between the joints. Now, some people use a margin trowel. I'm a little old school. I just like to have one tool in front of me all the time, so I use that trowel. Always visually inspect your corners. Make sure that things are good. Remove packaging like this. This is usually installed with tiles that have some sort of a polished finish on it to protect it from scratching during shipping. Once again, I'm going to back butter. I'm going to lay that in position. Lay it about 1/4 off, put some pressure and push back to collapse the ridges. Okay. Nice. I'll go this way and this way. We'll go both directions just for the purpose of the camera. Now I usually try to put those wedges in with fingers first, but here's the basic idea. The clip goes over top. here we go, sorry, I'm on backwards. And you just squeeze the wedge through the clip, causing compression, and it should create a nice flush surface. Approximately there. We got 8-inch offset. There we are. And pressure, and I will collapse my ridges. Now, the only thing I'm going to do differently here is I'm going to move my, and I use a different tile clip system. You see this works pretty quick. Here we go. This is for everybody who's been sending me messages about my PPE. Gotta use eye protection. I got this from that crazy Russian hacker. I love his goggles. I thought I'd wear them. So for those of you who've never done this before, this is a continuous rim grinder. So if it touches you, it'll burn your finger. It won't cut your finger off, which is lovely. The idea here is stone is somewhat sensitive, especially when it's porcelain. And I know people get upset when I call it stone, but it's a bad habit. You want to cut all the way through on each end, and then you want to basically plunge cut here so that the weak spot is going in both directions. So that if it does break during cutting, the piece that you want to keep stays intact. Okay, so that's the secret. And then just finish the cut. Here we go, inside corner. Very important to make sure your clips are pushed all the way in, guys. Basically, that's it. That's in for the techniques. We're gonna scratch the corners. We're gonna fill in as much of this as we can without using any of the grinders so we can get a lot of square footage done today. This will allow us all the room we need to be able to walk around and finish the job tomorrow. So today will be about a half day. We'll put down 150 square feet or so. And come back tomorrow and finish this off. Max isn't available tomorrow, so you're gonna have to wait till the final reveal probably to see the tile job. If you're enjoying these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, but most importantly, comment on the videos. By all means, or a suggestion of video you'd like to see, let us know. We'd love to be in touch.